We respectfully request the Sangha great virtues for the sake of this assembly and all living beings. Please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Khương tín đại đức tặng thịnh, vì thứ pháp hội cấp nhất thiết chúng sanh, tịnh duyên diệu pháp luân giao đạo ngã mùng, như há liêu sanh thoát tư ly khổ đạo lạc, tất chân vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Namo Sadanto Suchedo Ye Ulahudi San Miao Son Puto Se. Namo Tadakta Toya Raja Alahade Tamyo Namo Dato. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I am able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu sheng 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 wei miao fa bai jian wan jie nan zao yu. 我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master Ching Liang, Great Master YongHua, all good monks and nuns, and all good new advisors, Emitofuo. 诸佛菩萨、清凉大士、师父上人、各位出家人、各位善知识，阿弥陀佛。Chư Phật Bồ Tát kính thưa Thanh Lương Đại sư Hòa Thượng Tiên Hóa, quý thầy cô và quý vị thiện tri thức A Di Đà Phật. Okay, hello everyone. Today is the 22nd of July, 2022. Thank you all for joining our discussion prologue to the Avatamsaka Sutra. This is the preface, explanation, sort of an overview of Great Master Ching Liang, the expert in the Avatamsaka teachings. Avatamsaka teachings is the most profound Buddhist teaching at all, of all times. This is the king of sutras. This book contains the most profound principles of Buddhism. In particular, it reveals the intimate details of various aspects of a universe. That is something that only Buddhas can understand, can see. So we're getting a glimpse of the ultimate Buddhist wisdom. So it is considered to be the most profound Buddhist wisdom there is. What happened is we have some new faces here today. What happens, the Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, after he became enlightened, the first thing he did, he says, my being enlightened has only meaning because my purpose is to transmit my knowledge to the next generation. So that's where Buddhism lives, is in the next generation, not on books, not on me. It's not about me becoming famous or getting more disciples. It's about me coming to the world, becoming a Buddha, in order to transfer my knowledge to my students, so that Mahayana lives on in their minds, in their hearts. And so he says, therefore, one of the most important students in Buddhism are the Bodhisattvas. These are the ones that are enlightened, and they're near, they're working, they're closer to becoming a Buddha themselves. So they have real wisdom, and therefore the only way for them to become a Buddha is to go back in the world and work, to build the world, make the world a better place. That's the only way for them to become a Buddha. You cannot become a Buddha by simply meditating and sitting on your corner or scheming for yourself, scheming for personal profits. You only attain wisdom by contributing, by helping others. And this is the Buddha's wisdom. This is the truth, the superior truth of all times. You want to go to a better place, you want to be a better person, you do that by helping others, by committing to helping others. Thank you very much. Okay? And so Buddhism is that set of these little tips there that can make a difference, can make or break your career, your life, and the meaning of life. And so that's why after the Buddha became a Buddha, he says, for these people who are superior individuals, who have wisdom already, what is it I can do to help them progress a lot quicker? And like typical of all Buddhas who came to the world, who are coming to the world in the future, they will also transfer that knowledge to the Bodhisattva as a first official act, if you will. Okay? And so that so what does it have to do with us? Originally, it's for the Bodhisattvas, so that they can progress a lot quicker, become Buddhas quicker. And what does it have to do with us? It has to do with us in the fact that even though we're not bodhisattvas, but we will become bodhisattvas in the future. And this is the nature of Buddhist wisdom. Buddhist wisdom is not only for bodhisattvas. All the Buddha teaching is for all levels. Okay? So this particular sutra, Avatamsaka Sutra, which is Sanskrit for flower and dormant sutras, this is a sutra that contains the incredible insights that you can ever hope to achieve. Okay, people in the world, they look at success as they need to find tips or tricks in order to be successful, and so those are little clues that they are eager, they're searching for. The next tip for the stocks, and the next how to make a fortune, how to become famous, how to write a hit song or make a hit movie and so forth, how to become famous. And those are worldly pursuits. They are short-lived. They are of minimal rewards. Whereas in Buddhism, our purpose is to help you acquire wisdom, which will affect the quality of your life long term. Not only this lifetime, but also future lifetimes. So that's the difference. You see, for example, in a worldly perspective, for a successful business, the business the good businesses engage in long-range planning. Yes, they plan for a 5-year planning horizon. When they invest in a manufacturing plant, they need to do the analysis on how it's going to pay back. They projected the cash flows of these investments and how they're going to recoup the investment and how much money they make, given a certain assumptions. Okay, it's called financial forecasting. And so the timing, the planning horizon matters in terms of your success and failure. And like the same thing, you hire someone in business, it's because you say, I'm going to outlay this kind of expenditures. In the future, I expect that person to deliver this kind of thing for me, okay? And based on your own estimation, it's going to pay off for you, okay? So the thing is that for worldly people, the planning horizon is pretty short. Let's say no longer 100 years for their investments. Huh? Whereas in Buddhism, the Buddhists looks much further. They said, okay, I'm doing all these things in order to invest in you, long term. Bodhisattvas might take a long, long time before become a Buddhist, and for us non-bodhisattvas, will take even longer. So therein lies the genius of the Buddhist teaching. How can you teach text that is very beneficial for bodhisattvas, advanced, superior living beings, human beings, as well as us, lowlifes, who are inferior beings, okay? How are they going to do it in a way that will help us as well? And so that's the thing, and that's the thing that is that we need to be grateful to Master YongHua, my late Chinese teacher. He is the first monk in recent times I know of, the first patriarch of the last few centuries, where he says, for Buddhism to prosper, for us to try to make a difference in the world, especially when time is so hard, when the world is increasingly more stressful, more overwhelming, more difficult to live in, to have meaning in life. And so he says, one of the best things we can possibly have is to open our wisdom, long-term wisdom. And that's why he is the first patriarch of Chinese Buddhism, of Mahayana I know of, who invested a lot of time to teach us this Avatamsaka Sutra, this particular sutra here. He said in order to give us help us develop the kind of wisdom and give us the kinds of special insights and how to improve our lives right now and in the future. So that's why we study this sutra. And this is one of the more profound sutras, unless you have tremendous blessings, you won't be able to be exposed to it. So our purpose of explaining this at our low level is to make this available to all of you, so plant the seeds of you. And this is what the sages say. When you hear this, we hear all these concepts going through your ears once, even though you don't understand anything, even though you don't understand much at all. These are the seeds, okay, that will be in your consciousness forever. They're called Vajra seeds. They will never die. They will eventually, down the road, will sprout and will help you achieve incredible things. And that's a long-range planning, if you will, of these great sages. Okay? And so, in particular, this sutra is at this kind of depth because it's so deep. We have this great Chinese teacher a long, long time ago by the name of Qing Liang, and he's wrote a prologue to give us an overview of what it's about. So yes, it's profound. Yes, it's you can approach it from different levels, so the levels of bodhisattvas as well as our levels. Okay, so again, how do you listen to this? How you take advantage of this? Rule number one: don't try to understand, and that's very Mahayana. Mahayana is so profound that understanding occurs at so many levels, okay, depending on your current level of wisdom, your current level of intellect. So, however, your current understanding doesn't matter. This includes bodhisattvas as well. The bodhisattvas, when they listen to this sutra lecture, these Avatamsaka Sutra lectures, they don't understand themselves. You don't feel bad. You're in a very privileged company. We don't understand. Okay, the part we understand is very, very minimal compared to the actual depth of the teaching. And that's what's fascinating. You don't understand as much as you can right now, and the seeds are there for you to understand deeper and more as time goes on in the future, indefinitely. How's that for investments? Instead of planning for a 3-year planning horizon or 18 years to go to teach your children, to put them go through school, another 4 years for college, another 2 years of master's degree, another 3 years hopefully for a PhD program. You know, all those are short timing horizons. Whereas this planning horizon of this sutra here is forever. The seeds here are Vajra seeds. They're there, and depending on future conditions, they sprout some, and then you reap the benefits in the future. Even after that, the seeds are still there. They sprout some more, and they sprout some more. That's what's fascinating about this. So it's a gift. Okay. So how do you take advantage of it? Don't try to understand. Just listen. Go in this ear. You want to be curious about something, feel free to ask. You disagree, ask. Disagree, make a commentary, and so forth. We can discuss it. But remember, once it goes through your ear, it becomes Vajra seeds. Be there forever until you become a Buddha. How's that for long-range planning? So that's why great Master YongHua, my late Chinese teacher, explained this sutra to us, because it gives all of us, including me, the best seeds there are for our future lives, our current lives as our future lives. Tremendous gift, if you will. Again, I caution you, if you are curious about something, you disagree about something, we can discuss it. But whatever I explain to you, number one, your understanding is very shallow. Don't worry about it. Yes, I chuckle and say, oh, what a stupid question. Okay, but regardless, the seeds are there. Okay, and in the future, you understand more and more and more and more. Okay, so far so good. Okay, so right now we're discussing Master Jingliang, this great bodhisattva. He came to our world to help us understand this, so we can appreciate more. And he says, this sutra here, the way you approach it is there are a few doors, a few aspects of it, 10 aspects that he wants us to analyze it and approach it. And we discussed door number 1 already, cause and condition. He says, why was this sutra spoken in the first place? Now we finished that. Now we're into door number 2, the stores and the teaching containing it, meaning that what is it teaching? Why is it important to us? Okay, so this door number 2. And so we talked so far about the 3 stores of Buddhism, the Vinaya stores, which are secret insights about the foundation of your wisdom life, okay, about happiness. The Buddhists don't talk about it because they're too pure, okay? They're not trying to sell you at all like I'm trying to, okay? So the Buddhists, they talk about Vinaya or purity, morality, actually to tell you the truth. That is the basis of happiness, the basis of your success and happiness, a secret basis. And then the next door would be the sutras, which explain to you how to increase your concentration in order for you to succeed in your endeavors. You must develop the ability to focus single-mindedly on your task at hand. Yes, whether you're a carver, whether you're a writer, whether you are a coder, you write programs, you are whatever your endeavor is, your ability to produce outstanding work, okay, rests on this concentration power of yours. So people are scattered, meaning they have no concentration at all. They cannot produce significant work at all. They have very low level of results. I spoke recently because I was asked to a guy, a kid, 22 years old. He graduated from UC Berkeley, okay? Pretty bright kid. He's, and his mother is also a professor, okay? And the kid, he have 2 degrees, okay? After 4 years at Berkeley, he graduated with 2 degrees. 1 degree in physics, because his mother is a full professor of physics at another prestigious university as well, okay? So the genes are there. So he got a degree in physics, okay? And a degree, I believe, in some sort of engineering, programming or something, you know. Berkeley, I think it's computer programming. And so he applied for a PhD program, okay? So he applied. And he got accepted in all the programs he applied for. Georgia Tech, okay? Virginia of Technology, whatever, and MIT, and so forth. Okay, he got accepted in all programs. And then guess what happened? Why did the mother call me? He says, I'm declining MIT because I want to go to, I can't tell you the institution's name. Because comparatively speaking, that small institution has like 45 faculty members for the entire program. Yeah, he wants to go into some sort of artificial intelligence or whatever, okay, and physics and so forth, a combination of the two. He wants, I want to make a contribution to the world. This is how I make my mark on the world. I'm going to go and study this area here. That's my passion. So I'm going to go for a PhD there, okay? In contrast, so that smaller university, smaller program, flew him in, wine and dine him and say, we want you, we love you, and you are a perfect fit for us, and come, okay? We love you to death. Whereas MIT is so cold, they say, hey, come. And MIT, in contrast, has like a 3,000-4,000, I'm kidding, okay, 3,000-4,000 faculty members for that program. More like 300, okay, compared to 45, if you will, tenfold, if you will. But they're cold, and they said, why don't you come in? And we're not going to give you, a place in that program yet. Prove yourself. So this guy said, hey, how am I going to compete with these MIT people? And how can I be sure I go into the area expertise that I'm interested in? I may not make it. So at least these people, they love me, they adore me, and I'm going to that field. So he decided to go to that smaller program. And the mom, of course, is petrified. She says, are you kidding me? and they argued back and forth, and then she spent like months and arguing with him, convincing him. The guy said, nope, would not listen to her. So she finally got fed up And she called, her friend who was also a colleague who happened to be a disciple of mine. And says, let's talk to Master. I said, seriously? Do I look like MIT materials? So they talked to me anyway. So I gave them my 2 cents worth. And the point here is that I was more interested in finding out about what kind of animal would be able to finish Berkeley, program, 2 degrees in 4 years, and get accepted in 8, prestigious programs in the world, including MIT. When engineering, MIT one of the top, except Caltech here. But anyway, my point here is that I was more interested in finding out how he made it. You know what he said? I said, how do you manage to finish a degree in computer programming or whatever, and a degree in physics in 4 years? What is your secret? He said, it's no big deal. I said, well, come on, tell me, what is your secret? He says, you know what? I said, clearly, you have good genes. Your father is some sort of scientist, your mother is a full professor, and so you do have the advantage of winning a lottery for genes. But what is the secret? Genes is one thing, but what is the secret? He says, every day, without fail. No one ever taught him. Every day without fail, he would get up in the morning, and what do you think he did the first thing in the morning? You think? Taiwanese person. First thing he did. 15 minutes meditation. That's his secret. He said, doesn't matter how tired I am, whatever, I get up in the morning, I meditate. I don't know what I'm doing, I just meditate. Whatever he called meditation. It's not even Chan, like I train you and I teach you, He just meditated. And that's his secret. So my point here is that concentration is critical for you to produce. And that's a proof in the kid right there. He's smart, but he still needs to meditate. So don't tell me you're too busy to meditate. If you want to produce, you have to meditate regularly. So that's why in Buddhism, we teach you about the secret, the foundations that our parents don't teach us about. What is the secret of happiness? What is the foundation of happiness? What is the foundation of health? What's the point in being successful, being famous, being rich, when your body breaks down after you earn your fortune? Your wife hates you, your kids hate you. So what's the point in being rich, being famous? You cannot be happy, you see? So the Buddhism, we teach you about the secrets, And number 2 is that in order to produce, you have to concentrate. And, and so the secret, look at, you weaklings. Look at that girl right there in the back. That's how she concentrates. She sits and she crosses her legs like that for 2 hours and ouch, ouch, ouch. We have these secret recipes in Buddhism where we train you on how to increase your concentration level. I remember a professor, a guy who went for Berkeley PhD in mathematics, and he says when he wrote this paper that solved the problem that the number 1 teacher in that field was stuck for 40 years. They could not solve that math problem for 40 years. When he wrote the thesis paper for his PhD program to work on that problem, you know what he did? He says, I sat down, and I started writing my thesis. And I wrote and wrote, and 17 hours later, I was finished. Never stopped. That's concentration. Yes. You're not from Berkeley, are you?
I can just share that recently there was a fireside chat.
Yeah.
Fireside chat with the top person from Google search.
Fireside chat.
And then no, he's like the top brand behind search ranking, which is like the most important piece for the company. And then it was asked how, the first question, also interesting, the guy interviewing him is the top person in Google Ads, which is, again, where all the money is coming from. So, but then the first question they discussed is, what do you do to keep your mental health?
Mental health.
Yeah. And then the search guy was saying that, I do a 1 hour meditation every day. And I go to, Vipassana retreat, and so forth, so on and so forth. So it's definitely not unusual to hear this type of answers nowadays.
Yeah.
It was also came up in another discussion with another senior executive in product management, not engineering, but also.
Yeah.
He was also sharing that he, meditate.
Absolutely.
Every day.
And more visibly? Thank you for sharing with us. Is there more? Is there more?
Is that what?
Have you ended your story?
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, but it's not uncommon, by the way, that now the sports athletes, for example, part of their training, performance is meditation. They meditate, okay? Because remember, let's say you're a tennis player, you're playing in a championship match, the whole, 17,000 people, 50,000 people watching you, they make noises, they cough, and kids screaming on that side and so forth. And so you need to be able to put all that, okay, isolate your mind and focus on your task at hand. That's concentration right there. Okay, so the sports psychologists are teaching those athletes how to concentrate. Okay, that's part of that. And the only difference is that all those trainings, whether it's Google search ad or the tennis athlete, whatever, they all typically go through mindfulness meditation because that's what the sports psychologists and the professional non-monks and non-Buddhist monks and know. Our Chan meditation is far more advanced. You get much bigger results, go much further, much faster. Okay. So anyway, not all are the same. It's just like saying that you go to that small program is the same as going to the 4,000 teacher MIT program. And that's why I joke. So I chuckle at that guy and say, "So you are a chicken, aren't you? You think you can't compete with these guys? You competed well at Berkeley, but you go to MIT, you probably can't measure up." So I said, "You better learn Chan meditation, So anyway. So you have the Vinaya, okay, which is the foundation of health, of happiness, okay, the base of health and happiness. And then next group is called sutras, where you learn to increase the concentration. And so in Buddhism, you learn to go from zero concentration, so all the way to the Buddha's concentration, which is top-notch. Okay, where is the Google search concentration guy? Probably around 1 or 2. All due respect, okay? We're very factual. We're not boasting. There's no point boasting to people who don't understand anyway. And so that the next one is sutras where, like this particular sutra, part of it is to teach you how to increase the concentration. And finally, number 3, basket, the store of Buddhism, Buddhist teaching, is called Shastra, or the wisdom, meaning that sutras and Buddhist teaching are too profound. So these bodhisattvas come to our world and say, this is how you should approach it to understand it better and then develop your wisdom. Why is wisdom important? Concentration is only allows you for sustained concentration. But wisdom gives you the clarity of mind to solve problems better. So in Buddhism, we have 3 things, 3 baskets. They're very important in Buddhist training, Buddhist understanding. Number 1, foundation. You cannot build a house without proper foundation. You cannot build a skyscraper unless you build a proper foundation. Okay? So the foundation, what worldly people don't understand. They only shoot for money, they shoot for success, they shoot for stock options and so forth. Somebody just told me that her husband got hired with a $300,000 package. I said, really? I thought the good companies are freezing. But no. I said, so you see, the whole thing here, the whole point here is that the foundation of our lives is health, physical health, mental health, and happiness. That is what is necessary for the long term. Who told you that? Our mothers never told us. Our parents never taught us this way. Agree? No one ever told us. We always want to look for success, search for happiness, but no one tells us. What is the secret of happiness? You read these books, it says, the secret of happiness, get up at 3, at 4, make a lot of money, have a lot of girlfriends, so forth. All those people are unhappy. Okay? So in Buddhism, we understand if all these people who experience various levels of happiness because they understand how to have the proper foundation for happiness. Look at them. Look at all those people who claim they're happy. They have all those different factors of the foundation of happiness. As a Buddhist secret. Yes, sir. Green. Yeah.
Okay.
They need to turn it on.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
You use the word happiness, and I'm wondering, is it the same conjunction with the word joy?
Yes.
Okay.
It's more than joy. Okay? The happiness here, because you non-Buddhist one, that's why I use the word happiness. Okay? The true Buddhists would not use the word happiness. They would use the word bliss, not even joy. Okay? However, that is a purist Buddhist who says, I have the knowledge on how to experience bliss, okay? And happiness, as worldly people search for it, is actually a dirty word in Buddhism because it's really not happiness. Actually, it's suffering. For me, because what happened is that, for example, why is it called suffering? Why are the Buddhists so contrarian? Okay, you eat some nice gelato ice cream. Anyone? Huh? It's great, right? So it tastes good? Yes? Anyone? Okay? You love the gelato and you enjoy it, and guess what happens? Is you're happy, yes? But what happens at the same time, you're creating a craving for it again. Yes? Sound familiar? So that's why in Buddhism we say, yes, you're happy now, but you also have the seeds for unhappiness, because once you finish it, okay, now you have a craving. You say, oh, I would like to have some more. Okay? You eat some more, and you like to have some more. Pretty soon, you're addicted to gelato. That's unhappiness. Okay? So that's why the Buddhist wisdom is that as worldly people, they search for this happiness here. Actually, is a form of addiction. Think about it. So therefore, the Buddhists don't use the word happiness. Why do I use the word happiness? I need to sell a few commercials. I mean, I'm kidding. No. Because if you want to understand, you have to drop this attachment to the search of happiness. Okay? And that's how you build a foundation. Because if you build a foundation, say, I'm going to search for happiness by seeking happiness, by doing all these things, what you're doing, you are building a wrong foundation. You'll never make it. Okay? So that's why in Buddhism we don't use the word happiness. However, why do I use happiness? Once you build the proper foundation, okay? Once that foundation is built, okay, then becomes happiness. From here to there is bliss. Once you get there, it's bliss and happiness. Meaning that now you can embrace the world. Okay? The purists, Buddhists are the ones who say, no, I'm not seeking happiness, I want bliss, I want all those things. It's because they're not there yet. That's why they said, that's not Buddhist. Actually, Buddhists, once you get there, Buddha is very happy. Bodhisattva is very happy. Okay? They're not afraid at all. They're not afraid of gelato. Whereas the Buddha says, I don't want gelato. It's because I'm addicted to it. I don't want to be addicted. But that's because they're low level. At the level of these people, the people have wisdom, they no longer are not afraid. They're not afraid to say it's happiness or sadness or whatever. They're not. They have no restrictions. Okay? So that's why then if you have the wisdom, then it's okay to use happiness. So now the Buddhist trick is that you need to understand the truth is that initially happiness is an addiction. Okay? So you have to be aware of that. If you are still addicted to it, you will not be happy. You will never find happiness. So you start first by recognizing the nature of the addiction. So don't fall into that. Okay? But once you understand, you open your wisdom, you say, actually, it actually can be called happiness. So when you're free of your addiction, happiness is no longer an addiction. Gelato is no longer an addiction. Huh? All right? All right. So that's why you see, normal people, ordinary people, they don't understand that distinction. No one told them how to be happy, so they spend their entire life searching for something called happiness. And guess what? They all invariably become disappointed at the end of their lives. No one told them. And they said, what did I do with all my life? For this? I've seen people who have a lot of money, and because they build successful business, they retired, and guess what? When they're in the 60s, they have serious illness that wipes out all their fortune. The health, medical insurance can cover so much, but the cancer treatments are experimental. They cost everything they have. Okay? And the husband, out of love for his wife, he threw everything at it to save his wife. And they become destitute. Okay? So happiness can become unhappiness in a flash because they're ill-prepared for it. Okay? So anyway, so that's the Buddhist wisdom, you see. So that's why this store here, this sutra here, what does it belong to? It belongs to both the base or the foundation of morality, of precepts, of happiness, concentration or samadhi, okay? And also it teaches us about wisdom as well. So this particular sutra, okay? So here they're discussing the great teacher, the great monk here, Master Qingliang, the Chinese monk here, who is a great bodhisattva, I mean a high-level bodhisattva. He says he's discussing the type of structure of the sutra. So we're on slide 71. Again, if you understand, fine. Don't, it's fine. You know, it's okay. Only have another 40 minutes to go, and we stop. And we can have some gelato. See, now you're addicted to gelato. With inclusion of both meanings, they accord with the practice of both regions. They adopt the meaning, enrich the term. They further adapted the word tallying to distinguish it from the word mat, which was very fitting.
则双含二义，句顺两方，借意注明，更加气字，简易习经，甚为允当。
Okay, so what does it mean? He says, sutra is a Sanskrit word. Remember, second basket, second store is called sutra, where it explains you how to develop your concentration power. Sutra is a Sanskrit word, so it translated into Chinese from India. Buddhism moved from India, transmitted from India to China. So they have to translate a lot of Indian texts into China. So sutra is the original text for this particular basket of teachings about concentration power, how to develop it. And so in Chinese, it translated different things in order to help convey the Indian teaching. And it turns out that I feel that the Chinese translation is excellent. Okay, it's very profound. So they explain sometimes this word sutra or the basket, the store of the direct sermons from the Buddha, is you keep the word sutra instead of translating because it carries multiple meanings. Meaning telling meaning that this teaching here, this how do you develop wisdom? How do you develop, samadhi power, concentration power? By making the connection, by bridging up here the concentration power of the Buddhas and Bodhisattva, high-level concentration, if you will, versus us here, down here, where our concentration level is very low. So how this sutra here is something that helps us make the connection between where we are and how to get up there. Okay? Does it make sense? And so it has a secret recipe, a secret knowledge to help us identify where we are, okay, and how to get up there. Okay, so that's how profound the Buddha's sermons were. And that's why you need people like me, like us, to help you decipher this for you. Because a lot of it, if you understand them, if you know how to use the text and where to pay attention to, depending on each level, the Buddhist teaching is the same text, but by helping you, each and every one of you, focus on different aspect of it, okay? It helps you develop your samadhi a lot quicker than otherwise. So Buddhism is very, very individual style of coaching, if you will. So Buddhism is very, very, very effective style of coaching. So the Buddha, what the Buddha did is he explained something called sutras, samadhi power, concentration power, and now it's for us. Okay, low level teachers help you make the connection. How do you connect to that? How do you get there? So Buddhism is not about knowledge alone. Buddhism is about the Buddha did. The Buddha did. What he did is describe to us where you can be, where you should aspire to be. You aspire to be happy by building a proper foundation, and in order to contribute to the world, because your happiness depends on how much you can contribute. Have you thought about that? You must contribute. Okay? So that's part of your work, your being, is that part of our lives is to contribute. Okay? And so the contribution requires the skills, okay? The skills of concentration to help you make bigger contributions. All right? And so the sutra here, it helps you make the connection between which level you are right now versus where you want to go. Okay? That's the Buddha is talking about. And that's the coaching that has to happen. Okay? What happens in academia is they talk about, the Buddhist teaching is that Buddha said this, Buddha said that. And that's pure academia. Actually, it's not Buddhism. Buddhism is about the connection for each and every one of you with what the Buddha said. Does it make sense? So this is why the monks and nuns nowadays, and this is our problems, the young monks and nuns, they become monks and nuns, what do? They said, I become a monk and nun, my role is to contribute to Buddhism. My meaning of monk and nun is that I need to be recognized. So they go get a degree in Buddhology, get a PhD from some kind of good program. They say, I'm an expert about sutras. But what is that? What does it do for you? Nothing. It's just a degree, it's a piece of diploma. They talk extensively about sutras and so forth and Buddhist things, but how does it tally with you? How can you use it in your life to be happier, to contribute more? That's the problem with academia. The problem with young monks and nuns nowadays is that they cannot make the connection anymore. Okay? They cannot help us make the connection for where we are, our current level of concentration, 0, 1, 2, 3, and so forth, and go to higher, to 100, 2,000, and so forth. That's the kind of detailed knowledge that the monks and nuns are supposed to do to help you achieve. It's not about, talking about things you don't understand. They don't understand themselves, like a parakeet. It's pleasurism, if you will. In academia, when you take out, you copy a large part of another one's paper, it's called plagiarism, yes? That's what monks and nuns now do nowadays. They plagiarize the Buddhist teaching and say, oh, it's me. You understand? He said, the Buddha said so and so, life is suffering, the Four Noble Truths and so forth. That's pleasurism because it doesn't mean anything. For me, I want to know how can I be happy? How can I become a better person? Yes? Quoting what the Buddha said, how does it help me? I remember this kid, I call it kid because he's a master's degree from Sri Lanka in Buddhology, spent 7 years in their Sangha training program and got a master's degree. And then he teaches at the university in Sri Lanka. This is before they have a revolution and oust the president. So anyway, so he got PhD, and he came here hoping to go for a PhD and to my temple and expected me to pay for it. How can you be happy if you expect everyone to pay for you, for your life? Well, anyway, wrong premise. So I asked him, I said, you teach Buddhism. Here's my problem. I have a disciple who came to me and said, my husband is a control freak. How do I solve this problem? He says, oh, easy. I would tell the husband, life is suffering. I say what? The husband is very happy. He's not going to listen to you. So he said, what about I tell the wife, life is suffering, so endure it. Say what? Is that what Sri Lankan women do? Here in America, we don't do that. We divorce our husbands. And then now we have an unhappy husband and unhappy wife. Is that all Buddhism can do? Yeah. So anyway, so all these people, they learn only these theories, things, and they don't know how to tally, how to connect it to real life, to a real person. That's what sutras are supposed to do. They're not supposed to be, some theories where you listen to it and no one understands anything. You walk away and say, wow, this guy is so great. This has so much wisdom. I don't understand anything he said. Let's come back again next week and continue. And so that's why the sutra are meant to tell you where you are and encourage you to get better. You can do it. And there's a way to do it. It's not just theory. And why you want to do it? Because when you hear, you go to a higher level, these are the benefits you see for yourself. Incredible benefits. Not just words, not just conjectures. You feel it yourself. Okay? You become more patient. You become a better communicator. You become much better at concentration. You become, I use the earlier word, happier. And so forth, all those things. That's why the Buddha taught these things. Not for people to discuss, it's for you to get there, to experience it. Okay? So that's why it tallies. Okay? So that's why now here going back to slide 72, the master says this Avatamsaka Sutra, you remember? Sutra is second basket, second store. That's where it's for tallying what the Buddha describes, the higher states of your mind that you're going to read there, and where we are. Okay? So each and every one of us, okay, has the ability, okay, to go up there. There's a process. And that's what Buddhism is about. Help you get there. It's not about knowledge. Not about my knowledge, but your knowledge on how to get there. How to be happier, how to be more productive. How to be a great man, if that's what you choose to be. All right? And so, in 73, on the commentary, so they said the various reasons. They said math or tallying to translate the word Sanskrit, the Sanskrit word sutra. Okay, and he says in many ways, different ways of translation sutra into math or tallying, it also are acceptable, are useful concepts. 74. 2. Setting forth the characteristics. The four terms of the Western region, although they designate different things, are interrelated in meaning. Therefore, they all are called sutra.
2. 显相者 西域四民所目虽殊，意义相似，故同称修多罗。
Okay, 75. So he says, what you need to realize is that the Chinese in a prior life, in a prior times, they set out to translate the Indian wisdom sutra into Chinese. And we now, in our era, learn from a Chinese, translate that into English. So that translation process, we need to be cognizant of the fact that the translation from Indian language, Sanskrit words, into Chinese, okay, was very well done. Extremely well done, okay? Because it's so well done that later on, they provide the foundation for more Buddhist monks and nuns in China to attain very high level of wisdom in Buddhism. Okay, and so we're very, very lucky that such a thing happened, that the wisdom was transferred from India into China, okay, through that great translation. Even the word of sutra, okay, was heavily, carefully debated how to translate into Chinese. And now, Master YongHua, the latest known patriarch, is until before the current one who's still in hiding for some reason. I call it cowardice, but you know, I'm just an idiot monk. Don't pay attention to me, okay? I'd rather fail than hide. But it's just me. So now it has been translated from Chinese into English. Okay, and so we have a beautiful store of Chinese knowledge there that we can continue to use to refine our translation. This is for you, for your children, and for future generations. Okay, so that you and the future generations have the proper foundation of happiness, can produce through your concentration, development, okay, and your wisdom development, how to solve your problems. Okay? So originally, sutra, sanctuary word, were translated into 4 different terms, and the great Master Jing Liang says all those 4 terms were valid ways to look at sutras. That's all it is here. That's the main thing here. Don't worry about the details itself, called tallying or math or whatever. Who cares? Deep down, all I care is gelatos. That's what remains in the fibers, on the core. 76. And also, sagely teaching is multifaceted, comprising the above 3 meanings.
而圣教多含，具上3义。
Okay, 77. One of the translation of sutra is sagely teaching. Okay, so it's multifaceted, meaning that the Buddhist teaching has many dimensions. I already talked to you about happiness, about foundation, about health. Actually, it's a lot more than that for foundations. Okay, as well as I talk about sutra as concentration. Actually, it's even more than that. Okay, talk about wisdom is even more than that. So it's multifaceted, meaning that for these big, humongous things, it's so huge, okay, that you cannot possibly understand it all. So it pays just to look at one facet at a time. And you see, that's how they develop the depth, okay? And that's the nature of Buddhist teaching. It's multifaceted. So even the sutra is more multifaceted because it's a teaching from the sages. Why it has to be multifaceted? The same teaching has to apply to you as well as other people. You know, I like to say yellow faces, pale faces, red faces, black faces, and so forth. You know, those are different facets because unless the sagely teaching benefits these different types of perspectives, okay, cultural influences, ethnicity, okay, then it cannot be considered to be sagely. Sagely means it accommodates all sorts of people, all sorts of living beings. Okay? So sagely teaching includes string, which is strings, beautiful, together, beautiful, beautiful meaning, profound, profound meanings. Okay? Not only profound meaning, but also they have logic that appeals to you. Okay? Because we are logical creatures. It has to make sense to us for us to follow. Yes? So the string here, strings is beautiful logic the Buddha expressed for us. Linear when it's multifaceted. Okay? It's a mat because it's a structure. Huh? Structure. You understand structural engineer? Huh? Structures. Okay, it's beautiful structure. It's woven together to benefit others, to be useful. And a well rope, meaning that a well rope meaning it is well, and you need to put a rope down there in order to draw benefits out of the well. The well is supposed to be exploited, otherwise it's useless. So sutras, or all this Buddhist teaching, must be exploited, must be used rope to pull out all these fantastic benefits for you. And that's our jobs, by the way. All of us. You get the benefit yourself, you draw up the rope, and you tell your son, say, hey son, this is good stuff. Use a well rope. And you tell others. Right? 78. Therefore, the Sumyaka Hridaya says, text has 5 meanings. 1, bubbling spring. 2, bringing forth. 3 is revealing. 4 is ink cord. 5 is garland.
故杂星云，经有5义：一曰涌泉，二曰出生，三曰显示，四曰神默，五曰结曼。
Okay, 79. So there's some kind of text somewhere in some sort of Sanskrit somewhere. It says sutra or text has 5 meanings. Okay, bubbling spring, bringing forth, revealing, ink cord, and garland. Okay, and that particular shastra, it means, in Sanskrit, that means conjoined Abhidharma heart treatise. Kind of stuff for the great professors. Okay, so what are those 5 things? Slide 80. 5 things of text, sutra text, or sacred text, or transcendental text. It means bubbling spring. Okay? Bubbling spring, meaning it gushes forth, it comes out, okay? It non-stop, okay? The marvels, the benefits are like the spring that bubbles up from the earth to benefit living beings, okay? The meaning what? Anyone. Why? You know, we discuss this for you, especially Buddhist disciples, Buddhist specialists. They say, oh, sutra, of course, means bubbling spring. Why is it bubbling spring? Anyone? Why? Let me point out to you why it's called bubbling spring. Because the sutra, wherever there's a sutra, right there on the bookcase, okay? Wherever there's a sutra, there is a bubbling spring. That's what it means. Agree, disagree? You say, really? On the wall? I don't see it in bubbling spring. What kind of nonsense is Master concocting now? Hey, amigo, have faith. Okay, what is bubbly spring? Why is, if you have a sutra right there in the bookcase, it's bubbly spring? There's a bubbling spring right there because the bubbly spring is, especially in this day and age of climate change where we're having a huge drought in California, water is great. Praise Allah. Okay? So to have a bubbly spring is fantastic. You can make a lot of money. Okay? Never mind about money, sorry. One track mind. Bubbly spring is water of life. It comes out, benefits living beings. Okay? Like a bubbling spring. Anyone can benefit from it. Okay? And same thing, a sutra on that shelf right there in the library, in the bookstore, is also where the bubbly springs are. Meaning that the mere presence of a sutra in the text right there is where there's a bubbling spring. That's where it benefits living beings. Inconceivable, think about it. For you, you see bubbling spring and you see, where's the water? Where's the beef? Like the Wendy's, commercial woman, where's the beef? Okay. Same thing, don't be so ordinary. Okay? Bubbly spring is that it's a concept that reminds you that you place any physical sutra anywhere, online even, okay? That spot right there is a bubbling spring that benefits all living beings. Isn't that cool? You don't understand what it really means, but that's what they're trying to tell us. And here's my vice abbot, so impressed, he says, what are we going to do tomorrow for lunch? Please, concentrate. Okay, so bubbling spring, it's wherever it is, it benefits living beings. That's a concept. So far, so good? Hey, old monk, you like it? Does it make sense now? Why we keep on discussing this? It's called bubbling spring, and no one ever told me why bubbling spring. It's a piece of paper, or some black and white ink on white paper. No, it benefits living beings. Those sutras are very beneficial, a lot more than you imagine. Bringing forth, okay? Bringing forth, meaning that it produces. It gives rise to. Give rise to what? Goodness. Greatness. If you're more ambitious, greatness. Okay? Give rise to goodness in your heart. You listen to the sutra, he says, oh my God, now the sutra helped me realize how wonderful a wife I have. Oh, she's so beautiful. I love her to death. Okay? Sutra can help you realize that. Okay? After you overcome the pain in your legs. She says, what are you talking about? It hurts so much. Can I unbuckle? Say, no. 12 more minutes and you can unbuckle. Okay? Okay? So, it produces toughness. Huh? So that if you can do this, you go home, husband says, "Where you been?" I say, "Yes, honey. Love you." See that? You're tough. So it produces toughness. Okay? You can take it. Okay? The harsh words are only 2 minutes, but the pain has been almost an hour and a half. It hurts a lot more. Okay? So bringing forth the toughness in you, bringing forth your special qualities, if you will. Give rise to many, many wonderful things, many, many wonderful characteristics that you didn't know you had. You're so far from what you know is so limited, so tunnel vision. The sutra says, break down those walls. Don't limit yourself. And give rise to greatness. And that's why instead of saying, it hurts, you say, I am great. I am great. I can be greater. See? All right? Go, woman power. Okay? I've been accused of being a male chauvinist pig, but every now and then I realize my wrong ways. I, support women now. Okay, number 3, revealing. Okay? Revealing your greatness, your qualities. What happened is that no matter how great you think of yourself, Sutra says you can be greater. You can be better. You ain't seen nothing yet. Okay? And it shows you how. It's not just a sales pitch. God loved you, and you are. I remember Sunday evening, and when I was meditating by myself, I was so rejected. I said, all the plague pains is going nowhere. I ain't seeing any light at the end of the tunnel. So I turn on Sunday night, 11 o'clock. Okay, I turn on the TV. Yeah. When you live by yourself, you can have a TV. And you turn on the TV, and guess what? Joel Oberstein was there. God loves you. You deserve to be successful. We say, yeah, I can be successful. Thank you, Joel. Okay? And that's what he revealed. I was a special person. Among those people, I listened with raptures. Yes, I'm special. Yes, I deserve to be successful. Yeah, praise the Lord. That's my humble beginnings, if you will. Now I'm speaking the same way as Joel. You are special. You deserve to be successful. I love you to death. And the donation box is right there. Where's the donation? Can we pass around a donation basket? And I will sign my book, Chan handbook for you. Just buy as many as possible. Okay, so revealing your greatness. 4, in court. In court is that, what is it, in court? The Chinese like to explain to it as the carpenter. When they do, they pull up that line, that chalk line, okay? They have this chalk thing here, and they pull out, and you pull up, and they let go, and it draws a straight line, okay? So that they can have a straight line, so that it can join things, okay? So in court here is what? not a straight line. It's how we can live together. You can be together. How we can connect with each other. I know the Chinese, Master Hsuan said, inline, because then you can cut it right and you use a table saw and so forth. I said, no. I'm not into that. Okay, I'm more into, how do I join two things together and make into a beautiful structure? It's right there. You see that? And so this is a protocol. How do you connect? This is the best way that will never fail. When you put two things together, okay? They fit together. So sutras teaches you how, the proper protocol to connect. I think. When I'm bored, I explain things differently. Wei Mountain has a question. And the poor Koreans you guys realize the Koreans, you see, this is, I don't know what you can do with it. Korean. The two Korean branches, and we have Broadcast JC and JMT Temple View. Look at these people. You know what time it is right now in Korea? 5 in the morning. On Saturday morning. Okay? These Koreans are weird. I would never. Can you imagine us Americans getting up at 5 in the morning Saturday morning? Is it afternoon? Oh, sorry. Oh, no, that's tomorrow. Okay, come back tomorrow. I can. But there are, what time is it now? After 12. So can you imagine Saturday afternoon, they hang around the temple. They're weird. Okay, so anyway, so the in court, okay, the guidelines, the garland is an ornament. You want to make something beautiful to give to your girlfriend? Yeah. You make a flower garland. In Hawaii, I remember they gave us these flower garlands. Okay, I said, "Oh, thank you so much. They must cost a fortune." He said, "No." I said, "Flowers expensive." I said, "Not from China." So the flowers, the lace they give you, I'm sorry, Hawaiians. I will not be welcome in Hawaii anymore. The lace they give you at the airport from China. Not from Hawaii. I said, seriously? Anyway, time has changed. Now everything we buy is Chinese. Made. Wei Mountain, go ahead.
Master, was that like a kind of meditation called like affirmations? It's when you say in the morning like, "Oh, I love myself and I'm special," and you recite different things like affirmation.
Yeah, God loves you. What else you want? Okay. All right. Time is up. We stop here. Wei Mountain, go ahead. You still have a question? Kong now has a question. The Koreans are now upset. Yeah.
Master, can we have gelato too?
But it's past noon, honey.
Oh.
We are cultivators. We don't eat afternoon, remember?
Okay, bye.
But when I'm there next month, maybe we can go for gelatos. Okay, thank you everyone. Now, thank you for coming. Thank you for participating. So what we do next is do rebirth transference to help those people there go to the Pure Land Would they be happier than here? Anywhere but here? Okay, thank you.